we might, we seem to have a small number today, but that's just a-okay. It'll give us time to dig into it, and then the recording will be up for everyone to hear, because this is kind of important. I mean, if Susan and I kind of got tripped up on it, somebody else might as well. So, so Susan, I'm going to turn it over to you, because what we're talking about, just so that everybody knows, is on the short row section, it says now do short rows, and then it tells us how to do it. And so all of us think to ourselves, well, do we do the wrap and turn method, or do we do the German short row method, or how is this pattern written? And because it didn't say anything about wrapping and turning or anything, we got confused and started, like I was saying before to Kathy, we started overthinking it. And so anyway, round and round in circles, we finally found out yesterday. Take it away, Susan. What we found out.
So, just like Pam mentioned, when I saw short rows, that means something to me. It's a definition. And if I didn't know what a short row was, I might have blown right past that. So maybe I knew just enough to be dangerous. But a short row implies to me that it's going to go across and blend in, and then go back and blend in and keep blending in until you have some shaping. It would have been nice to know it's not really a short row, it's really a flap. You're creating a flap, and it's going to just be this. I've got pictures on that I posted on Facebook, but you're going in the circle round and round, and then all of a sudden you end up stopping and go back and forth, and that's it. You're just going back and forth, and you're creating, like, it's going to be fanning out because of increases. The other thing, Pam, I know this is a little embarrassing. I tend to knit from the bottom up. So going from the top down, I forget sometimes to wait, turn it over in your head and realize what you're doing. So now I'm going to turn it over in all of our heads. If the top of the sweater comes out and you're getting ready for your sleeves over here, well, when we go back and forth and create a flap, that creates an edge. When you rejoin into the round, that edge flattens out and becomes part of the underarms. It's a flap. It's not going to be connected back in at all. It's just a flap. So when you connect it, it kind of curves into the underarms. And let's see if I can stretch mine out to show you.
And then it pushes that extra flap, pushes the neckline up so that the back of the sweater is higher than the front.
Yes. Yeah. This is the flap right there.
Here, let me make you, hold on, let me make you big here.
Make me big.
Make you big. Hold on.
I just grow
here at my daughter's, and I don't have my extra screen, and I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Okay, now show.
Okay. So, and I did put really clear pictures, I hope, on Facebook. Okay. So when you're knitting around, we got to here, and then we went back and forth, and it created a flap. So let's turn it back over, the top down. Is that clear enough? Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, really, truly, just like Kathy said, just do exactly what the pattern says.
Okay.
Without any extra fancy stuff.
But use the German short row method though?
No.
There's nothing at all. You just go back and forth. You know what I did on my pattern? I crossed off the word short rows and I put flap. I said, this is the flap section.
Well, that makes it easy. Okay.
Yeah, it's just
I didn't try it. I'm glad I didn't try it then.
Yeah. So, okay, here we go. So here is,
Okay.
This is the back. This is the flap right there. And when you rejoin it to the shorter part, it creates, like, here's the cast on 4.
Yeah.
And this is the edge of the flap. And then when you join in the round, it kind of shifts this up So now I'll go slow this time. You can see that the back is high and the front is low
Okay.
because the
Wow.
flap is here. So
Extra-
here's the cast on.
Extra six rows or so?
Yeah, I think it's eight
Oh,
rows.
nine rows, extra
Yeah,
nine
well, the
rows.
ninth
Okay.
one is going back and casting on and going around. So
Yeah.
it does work. And I just want to say and acknowledge that my favorite saying, communication, the final frontier. If they had just had a little more ink in the pattern, I think it would have been clear even to me. But you're right, overthinking it. If I didn't know what a short row was, I might have just thought, oh, well, I guess I go back and forth. But it was alarming to me that this gap was showing up. And so I was trying to work around and figuring out, like, could I skip it? So I did think about this. If I wanted to do this again, and I wanted it to be more like a summer top, maybe with some kind of a cotton blend, maybe I would skip that whole section and just have it be exactly the same in front as back. And it would just be a little lower in the back and wouldn't be, it would just be different. So I think that's it. So you can make me small again.
I could never make you small, Susan.
I don't know if you can, but here it all blends in because I did the sleeves and it all just blends in. But like you said, when you hold it up, it makes the back a little higher.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Pretty.
Does.
Beautiful.
And
very pretty.
you can't even really tell, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just it's seamless. Yeah.
yeah.
Or invisible or whatever the word is. Yeah.
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 Let's just call it genius. I
Yeah,
think that's
it's really great. And there is one other. Is anybody knitting? Well, and somebody will who's watching the recording. Let me get this and put this into the chat also. Oh, where did I copy it? Oh. Oh, I'll have to go back to Ravelry. Hold on. I guess someone said in the chat, I am on the Medium and I didn't get back to here. I'm copying a post that somebody put on Ravelry just in case this is relevant. I'll put it in the chat. If you have the medium size, the second marker isn't in the correct place after the second cast on 5. The brackets are in the wrong place on page 4. Anyway, I haven't actually done this myself, but because I am knitting a size medium, so I just want to put it out there. I will put this also in the comment section on YouTube so that anybody who's watching this afterwards will be able to see that there might be some errata there. And I like I said, I'm knitting the medium and I haven't come to that point. So I'm just trusting that this woman is correct, that there is a little problem there. So.
Is it the section under the, let's call it the flap section, where you divide?
Yeah.
Is it there?
Okay. She says I'm on the divide. That second marker is not in the correct place after the second cast on 5, which is size medium. So evidently the marker, I don't know that that's a big deal anyway, and I may be making a bigger deal out of it than it needs to be, but just in case that's relevant, I wanted to put it in there.
Thank you. I think sometimes I was trying to help someone this last week with a knitting conundrum. She couldn't make herself look at the big picture. She really had to have every single detail written down, and she could, if it was written right, she could do it like a machine. Whereas, and that's probably a good thing. In some situations, I tend to like to lift up and look at the whole pattern and understand what's coming down the pike. Is this making sense? Am I interpreting it properly? well, this time it got me into trouble because I was all like going on and on about the short rows in my head. But at some point, you know, you've got some stitches in front, some stitches in back, and you have to have enough for your sleeves. So if you're off by a little bit, as long as it's right in all the right places, you can kind of fake it. But it's good to have the errata because otherwise you just kind of drive yourself crazy wondering.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, I think on the last meeting, a lot of we have, all of us knitters, we have different personalities, you know, and some of us are, everything's got to be just perfect, and if it's one little stitch off, I've got to take it all back, and others of us are going, you know what, this general thing is okay. I can, you know, if I'm short a stitch, I don't know where it went, but everything looks fine, let's just, you know, I cast on one and move forward. But anyway, that's, you know, I'm not expecting to change anybody's knitting personality, but you know,
I had actually decided on doing the size small, and I had done a swatch, and I dropped down like a needle size, and I was almost to the short rows, not quite. And I realized this is going to be huge on me.
Mine's gonna be
So
big.
I pulled it all out. I'm doing the extra small, and I dropped down another needle size. I'm doing it on a size 5.
that's interesting.
And
That's
it's
interesting.
holding it up, it seems like it's gonna fit.
And
I mean,
the
this
fabric seems nice and supple. It doesn't look like your fabric
it's
is
very
too,
stretchy. Yeah. But
yeah,
so I think it's gonna fit all right. You know, if
yeah,
it
yeah.
it's only for me, so it is what it is. But but I think by doing it a second time, I think it went quicker. And again, because during the first one, I came in at the end and you were talking about the short rows. And so I looked up German short rows and thought, okay, I know how I can do this. And when I sat down and looked at the pattern, it's like, those aren't short rows. They're not German. They're not whatever. They're not back and forth. So I thought, okay, I'm going to just follow the directions. And yeah, and it worked.
And it
So,
worked,
but
yeah.
like you, I think sometimes we overthink things,
Mhm.
you know, or we
Yeah.
don't read far enough into the pattern.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That's why I get notices that say, this doesn't make sense. And I took it to somebody who's been knitting for 40 years and it doesn't make sense. And I think this is a good example of it. Probably combined, Susan and I have well over 40 years, and yet we were flummoxed and it really wasn't that big of a deal. Anyway,
Yeah.
so. Any other comments, Jean, questions?
No, well, I'll just say, I'll tell it on myself. I left those first set of markers on through the cabling, and that drove me crazy. I didn't
Oh, it
see,
did?
I didn't see you can remove all the markers.
Yeah, I took them all.
I know, and
I
I'm
added
trying
them
to keep them
until
in the
I
right.
was,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was a mess.
until I had everything straight and I could do it by sight until I
Yeah.
could, yeah. And then once I could do it by sight, I took them all off.
So
Yeah.
then I was like, are they talking about the markers in the short row and the this and that? And then I went back and read it again. And I said, oh, I was supposed to remove those a long time ago. So they were a pain trying to keep them in the right places and stuff, and I was whatever. But
Yeah.
no,
And
otherwise, I ordered some of your bulb. Is that what you call them? Bulb pins? Bulb?
Oh, bulb markers. Yeah.
Yeah. I ordered some of those and that helped a lot. But I was already on the second set of cabling when they came.
Yeah, I have some here for you, Susan.
So then I have one mistake where I didn't do the right and the left, and it'll be okay.
did you do the same thing I did?
And
Yeah.
I did.
there. I did it in the wrong. I did left and right
So it
instead of
came
right.
out.
Yeah, so it came out like a different kind of cable.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty.
it's okay.
Well, I have a cable
couldn't even see
confession
what you did.
too. On one of them, you're supposed to do right and then left. I started out doing left and then right. And by the time I figured it out, I thought, oh, well, I'm going to make a unique Pacific Grove top and everything will be reversed. And it's fine. It looks fine.
It
They're
love
really
that.
all
creates this
there.
optical. Where is it?
It's everywhere because
Everywhere.
on the very first one, I should have gone this way, but I went that way, so they all had to be the other way.
They're all in a different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So you
so
have-
it,
But it looks
Did
the
you do
same as
that?
mine.
okay,
It
it
looks the
looks
same
fine.
though.
It
Yeah.
is the same. It's just that it says to start right. I accidentally
Oh,
started
it's just
left.
that it takes a row for it to, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
yeah.
the next time I had to remember do it right instead of left, and then left, and it's just like being a left-handed knitter or something. It's fine. But I wanted to say to Kathy, I had the same urge to just like stop and do a sleeve just to see how it works. And
Yeah, I did both of them. Yeah.
I like that. I'm decided not to because I am running out of a ball of yarn and I thought I'll just crank this out. But I must say I'm loving, after doing all the hard work of all the cables and the shirt rows and all that, I'm just doing stockinette. I've never been so happy to just knit stockinette.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm gonna end up with 2 extra skeins of yarn.
really,
because
because
you've
of the
scaled down so
downsizing?
much.
I did the extra small, so we'll see. I may use part of another one, but I thought maybe I'd make a scarf or a cowl or something out of it because
I
it's
may
so.
end up with one because I thought I was gonna do the large, and then I talked to my friend and she goes, no, you need to go down a size, so.
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
down to the medium, so I think I have an extra one too, but.
I
Yeah.
love the extra yarn. If you have extra yarn, you're never sad. If you don't have enough, it's kind of a little soul crushing, but
Yeah.
I love that.
It's
He's
this,
my yarn
this
too.
yarn, the yarn that came with the kit, the blue sky, it's gorgeous.
Isn't it?
So
Oh, yeah.
soft and it's beautiful.
It's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of a pattern you could do with 1 or 2 skeins. Well, in fact, if you ladies want to keep talking, let me look and I will.
Yes.
Well, the reason I thought I could do like a cowl or something with a design in it is because obviously the design shows up in this yarn.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cowl that was pretty intricate and it would really show up. Because
That would be brilliant. All you'd have to do is just cast on and knit in the round for 6-8 inches and
yeah.
do a little ribbing and
Or you could even do this same pattern.
that's what I mean. Yeah, do this same pattern and then
Do the pattern. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, that's an idea. Yeah. Maybe
just
that's
start with some ribbing, then do this cable pattern, this honey. It's almost like a honeycomb if you put it all together, and then do some ribbing on the end. That would be gorgeous.
Yeah. I think that's what I will end up doing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Didn't even think of that, but yeah. And I like the different pattern where it switches to the the lines across.
Yeah, that's funny. When I saw that, I thought, how do I do that? And then it just appeared.
Yeah, I was surprised at first, but yeah.
And this is beautiful. You want to be sure and block it because I've seen the photographs of the blocked and it's just really beautiful when it's blocked. It just flattens out and lays down really nicely. Let's see, I have it all crooked, but
is that like a deep purple? What color is that?
This is
it looks,
I'm blanking now. It's
looks kind of purple.
It does.
Yeah, I think it's the light. It's like a dark navy blue, but I forget the name of it. The name of it.
The ring too that you did, Susan.
Thank you. Yeah, that was I decided it's time to use that up. I purchased that on a trip. I live in Ventura, California, and I don't get out much actually. I pretty much just like stay home and do my thing. And I finally made myself go to Solvang during Christmas. It was beautiful. And for years I thought we should go to Solvang during Christmas. It's so lovely. And we did. And one of the shops, there's one shop left that sells yarn and fabric, and I love to sew. So I went inside and they might be closing actually. It's
yeah.
And so I wasn't going to buy a bunch of yarn, but So I bought all of this beautiful deep red, it's worsted weight yarn. And I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And I sat on it until I saw this top. And I thought maybe, just maybe it'll work, even though it's designed for DK. So I ended up with size 6 needles, and my gauge came out pretty close. So I decided to go with a small and see how that goes. So I think it's working out very well. But I
Good.
wouldn't normally recommend switching out the yarn like I did. I was just kind of determined to do it, which is another thing to
Yeah.
think about too. You know, if you have a yarn you really, really want to use, if you can just make your gauge the way you want it to look, then maybe you just make a different size or some other thing. So I'm
Absolutely.
trying to get brave.
I was surprised because I did the swatch and I washed it and did everything to it. And I thought, this is just right. And then, like I said, once I got into knitting it, it was like, no, I have to change. So, I don't know quite why that would be, but you know, because I usually don't swatch. I'm terrible about that way. I kind of guess. I'd rather
Yeah,
rip it out and it doesn't fit.
yeah, on sweaters, you kind of something that needs to fit. It's
Yeah.
slightly important. This color is called Nightfall.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Nightfall. And it's basically a nice dark navy blue, which it's a color I love. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna love it. So
So
let's everybody, oh, go ahead, Susan.
I was just thinking about the sizing here on the page where it has the diagram.
Mhm.
The sizing is pretty generous. So, I mean, I thought I could probably get away with an extra small, but this might be part of the problem with sizing, is that it's kind of an oversized top.
Mhm.
So, and then depending on body type, like I know I've got like skinny shoulders and like a narrow rib cage. I mean, don't look at the lower half. I mean, I'm not a small person, but I figure that the if I went ahead and went with the size I normally make, it would probably be too huge on top, but I would probably have to add something at the hips. So we'll see when I get down there with the top down. I can try it on and then
Yeah.
decide, do I need to do some increases? So we'll see. I'm liking the top down seamless. I don't really, as much as I love to sew clothing, I do not like to sew on my knitting. So I'm really liking that I'm not going to have to sew up underarm seams or any of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. Sometimes it's nice to have that structure of a seam on, just that structure causes your sweater to kind of, I don't know, hang
Yes.
better, depending on the yarn. But yeah.
It gives you a place to put your ends too.
Yeah. You were talking, Susan, about doing the sleeves. So what I did is when I divide for the sleeves, I put them on the 16-inch size needles that I want. And then I put these little cute little things on them to keep it from falling off. And I have two, so that I alternate when I knit the sleeves and keep track of it, so that I make sure they come out the same size, the same whatever. Because
Oh, that's a good idea.
I've done sweaters before where you do one sleeve and then you do the other, and it's like, okay, I was knitting on different days, the gauge is different, and they're different lengths, and how many rows, and so I thought this will be easier. And then when actually, I used a size 5 for the sleeve. I know it said to drop down, but I didn't. But what I did was, like, partway through the knit purl, I dropped down to a size 3 double pointed, and I finished off on double pointed. So that pulled it in a little bit tighter because I have thin arms. So that pulled it in a little bit tighter. But I do find when I can, doing the sleeves even before I finish the rest of it, because then I can kind of stick my arm in and, yeah, this is going to fit. I don't want to get to the end and go to the sleeves and find out that it's too big, too little, you know. So that's why I go ahead and do the sleeves. So
Yeah. Good
Mhm.
job. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that
Like-
actually is a good idea. I might try that, and just I've not done that before, but I have found that situation to where depending on different days, your gauge can vary just a little bit on different days.
yeah.
And then how many rows did I knit? And yeah.
Yeah, I have a journal and I write everything at the top of the page, about it, the pattern, the yarn, yada, yada, yada. And then I write down my rows. After I do a row, I write, or if it's an increased row or a decreased row. And I keep notes so that, oh, hey, this came out really nice. I want to make it again. Now I don't have to think so much. I can follow my pattern. I do that with my socks too, so that they fit. I know how many rows and whatever, because I have small feet. And so, yeah, so keeping track in a journal, I write everything down. It really helps. And it
That's
doesn't take that,
interesting.
so, but, yeah.
That's brilliant.
That's
Well,
good.
and you haven't knit a sleeve yet, have you? You're just going on with the stockinette.
Oh,
Susan.
Oh, I have
You-
not done the sleeves yet.
Yeah, you haven't done the sleeves, and you were going to, if I remember correctly, do little cap sleeves. Is that what you kind of
I'm
thought?
thinking about not knitting very much stockinette. I'm thinking of doing shorter sleeves. So I'm still the jury's out on that. But that's one of the reasons I want to try the whole thing on before doing the
yeah, I don't know
sleeves.
if you can see. See, I didn't do much stocking it either.
Okay. I like that. I think it maybe make a
I
little
think it's
more.
only like 5, well, my book is the thing. It's maybe 5 or 6 rows of stockinette before I started the cuff. And then, like I said, I did, I think 3 rows in that same needle size, and then I switched to the smaller.
Yeah, it's
So
nice
like
to
it.
do the ribbing in a smaller size. That's really a good idea. Yeah. And I'm thinking of perhaps making my sleeves a little longer. Maybe even, 3/4 or something. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure. I may not. But I kind of like a sleeve that length, and then I can kind of push it up a little bit. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, well, mine was because, as you know, living in California, living in Arizona, if I get to wear it once a year, I'll be doing good.
Yeah.
I'll have to go someplace else to wear it because it's just, yeah. So, but that's
Yeah.
why I kept it short. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was wise. That was wise. Well, is there anything else, Susan, that you'd like to add before I think maybe we'll end this one early, unless, someone else has anything else to say. But I just want to make sure that since this is the last one, that everybody seeing this after, later watching the recording gets their questions answered. And of course, you can ask questions in the Facebook group. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, just go to the Dizzy Knitter group and ask to join.
A question
Yes.
might be, when is the next knit along?
That's a really good question. And I can't remember the date. I just talked to someone yesterday and told them it's going to be the end of August. I think it's going to be on a Saturday, and I'm really excited. It's going to be the fall festival patterns that I think you attended last year, Susan. We do these every year, the little acorns and the fall leaves and this year they came out with a new pattern with a little mushroom, a couple little toadstools to go with their leaves and acorns and anyway, all those fall patterns. So the fall bundles are coming out. They're going to be shipped in a couple of weeks to us, and so that knit along will go out. That sign up for the knit along will go out shortly.
Will you be able to just get the patterns, because those little things would be perfect for my hand spun yarn that
Yeah, you can just get the patterns.
do anything, But if you could, I'd love to do little pumpkins and acorns and things.
Yeah, pumpkins. I'm sorry, I forgot that. Yeah, the pumpkins. Yeah.
That would
No,
be
you
wonderful.
yeah, you can get the patterns for free. Are you on our mailing? Well, you probably are on our mailing list now that
Yeah,
you've signed up.
yeah,
So
yeah.
watch. Cool. And so watch for the announcement. It'll hopefully be in the next within the next week, and hopefully sooner. And I'll also put an announcement if you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, pop in there, and I'll put an announcement for it, and you can sign up to it there.
Okay.
Pam, if anybody wants to see the pictures that I tried to take a picture of the flap and how it turns into the armhole and all that. If anybody wants to see that, you're welcome to just steal those off Facebook and share them with people. I don't think there's anything in there that is not shareable. Like I don't think I had a bill underneath my picture or anything. They're all pretty close up on the knitting, but I'm glad for the Facebook group because I was able to ask the question just out there, cry out to the internet. Has anybody done short rows yet or whatever? And then when figure it out, I could go in there and edit that and put the pictures, and I'm hoping that it might help somebody.
Yeah, it will, I'm sure. It will,
So
I'm sure.
thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Susan. Thank you for all your sleuthing and taking the reins of figuring that whole thing out that that we made way more complicated than we needed to. But anyway, I'm so happy. This was such a great, oh, excuse me one second here. I need to cough and I don't want to.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that I think I had seen a couple of your different posts, and it's so nice to meet you guys. And, I'm sorry more people didn't join in this time. I know I missed the last one and there were a lot of people.
Well, often that's what happens. The first one, a lot of people join, and then the second one, it's like, okay, they got all their little questions answered, which is great. And so that's why I just put one more, just to mop up any things like this situation.
No, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. And I will have 2 of those little fall festival knit-alongs, but in a sense, they'll be interchangeable. You know what I mean? You might not need to attend both of them unless you just want to, because anyway, I don't know.
People see what they're doing. Yeah, it's fun if I can. Yeah.
It is fun. I love it. I love it. So I hope everybody has a fabulous day, a great week, and rest of your week. And hopefully you stay cool, Kathy.
All right.
Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome. Thank you, Susan. I'm looking forward to seeing you when I get back home.
Okay.
Enjoy your time with your daughter. Yeah.
Thank you. I am. Bye-bye now.
Okay, bye.